Or yeah.
Yeah, proceed.
Okay. So today we are going to look at task management. So task management is basically nothing but a Kanban system of how activities can be monitored inside the ERP. So you can, if you go to the Kanban board, you'll be able to see your tasks. So they'll move from different status. So we're going to see how it is configured, how does it link to ERP documents, how the interaction happens, and how it basically goes to the next one. Okay. So before we start that, so let's look at what are we going to do, or what is a typical business process. Okay, so mainly task management is, we are going to see how business process is mapped inside the system. We all know how it is mapped, we all know the individual transactions, but how does this all tie together? Okay, so for example, let's say that the business process is that somebody from HR or an employee, okay, employee wants to apply for a loan. Okay, so if we say the employee wants to apply for a loan, then we need to know, okay, how what are the steps that are involved. Okay, so first is employee creates a request. Okay, then the manager approves the request, then it goes to HR team for approval, second level of approval. Then it goes to finance team, and when finance team is done, then loan is disbursed. Okay, so this is, all of us can agree, this is a very simple process. It goes from one employee to the other. All right, it's very easy to understand. But what we also need to understand is, not all of this might have a transaction inside ERP. Okay, so for example, when employee creates a request, do we have a window? No. So we don't have a window in ERP for this. We don't have an approval system also for this. HR also, there is no approval. But in finance team, there is a loan document which needs to be approved, created, and then the loan disbursement is nothing but a payment document. Right? So for some of the steps, you might have an ERP window. For some of the steps, you might not have an ERP window. So it is purely, entirely up to the business how we want to do. But they want to monitor everything in ERP. Okay. So how are we going to do this? So this is a flow. This was what we call as a process flow. Okay. So what we need to do is, we need to define this process flow in the system. We need to create these tasks, and we need to see how these tasks are going to interact with each other and who is responsible for it. Okay, so let's see how we do this. As always, if you have any doubts, please stop me right there, so then we can go through it. Okay, so the first step is, we need to create what we call as the business process template. Okay, so the business process template is nothing but, it's a simple, very easy to use window which talks about these steps. Okay, so now we want to have an employee loan procedure, right? So we create a new process. So we say, okay, so this is employee loan application. Okay, so I just give a name like that, right? So who's the owner of this is supposed to be written over here. All right. So we can change this later also, but for now I'm just putting my name. Okay. Oh yeah, and most importantly, by the way, we need to have two IDs so that we know who is the manager, or at least two IDs, know who's the manager, who's the this one and all that. So let me go to user. Let me see if any user is available. So email address, this percentage. Okay, so okay, so biometric user is there. Okay, do we have the password? Can someone just ping it on chat for a biometric user or for CRM training. Okay, so Gautam, just ping it to me on chat
Yeah.
so I can just quickly see it. Okay, so there are multiple IDs here. So let's first go through the process, then we'll attach it over here. Okay, so this is the process. So now I need to say what is the step. So very simple. So I'm just going to create a step. So what the step was, employee creates a request. So employee creates a, I'm just going to put the same name, but you can, of course, we can change it. Okay, now we need to say who is going to perform this role. That means who is the employee, okay, or how is the employee going to be mapped, right? So we need to have, I guess you need to ping to me on my, okay, all right, fine. So who's going to be the employee? So we need to have the role. So let me take the user first. Gautam, I need to have a local user. I think you are giving me a user which is in system client.
It's a local user, KB.
No, I'm not getting
Just
it.
connect. You have given, not given to.
Okay, right. So the role is, for example, mobile app CRM, right? So I'm just going to say, okay, so anybody from the mobile app CRM we can apply. So basically, we need to have a role. So for example, all employees will have a common role. We need to specify that role. So anybody in that role can create the request. All right. Then the most important thing is this step type. So like I said, here we said that there is no ERP document, right? So in the step type, we have basically four types of steps. One is a group task. A group task meaning there are more than one person joining together to perform one task. Okay, that's a group task. Or if one person is doing one task. So that is a simple one. So we say it's a step linked to a task. There is no document. Okay, so this is the step here. So there's nothing else to be done. I just save this. Okay, and then I'm just going to quickly create all of them. So the manager approves approval. Okay, so this is again okay. So this is going to be done by Konnect Training Admin. So I put this Konnect. Okay, so for some reason I am not having that. So I'm just setting admin for now. All right. So I'm just setting admin is the writer who is going to approve this. So all of these are they don't have any ERP window, so they're just going to be. So this one, obviously, I'll be choosing the HR, but for the purpose of the demo, I'm just choosing the same thing. Or I can actually choose HR also, it doesn't matter. So let's say I'm choosing a role called timesheet. Okay, so there's a HR role. Then I'm creating another task. This is a finance team, right? So the finance team is to create the document. So this will be coming from finance team. So I say accounts and finance. Now the most important thing is this is a step that is linked to ERP. So here we say this is a step linked to a task, okay, but it is linked to document, okay. So when you say document, then you need to say which document is this. So I'm going to go to loans and advances, okay. So I need to know the table name. So I'm coming here, I'm taking the table name. So this is the table name. So this is the table, okay. So if you want, I can specify the document type also. So the document type would be a Konnect Payroll document type. So Konnect Payroll. So that means when the step is completed, now somebody has to create a document like this. Okay. Then the next one is the final is the payment. So the loan is disbursed. The loan is disbursed. Again, this has to be linked to a document. So again, the department is the same. It's still accounts and finance. It could be a different person. That is okay. So now I go and make the table, which is AP_payment, and then the document type would be AP payment, right? So I save it. So now I have created all the 4 steps, but the system only knows the sequence of the steps. It does not know which is which, all right? So now I need to go to each step and I need to create something called the transition. It means what is the next step? So I say plus here. So the next step of this one will be manager approval. I save this. Now, if you see here, I am only doing one transition, but I have to come through 2 steps to navigate this. It's a bit uncomfortable, right? So I'm going to do like this. I want to have a grid display and I'm going to change my customization. Okay, so I say customize. Is open in grid view always. And I say yes. So then what will happen is from here itself, I will be able to directly add it over here. So after the manager approves, the next step is HR team. So then I go here. So the next step is HR team's approval. I save. Then the HR team approves. After the HR team, it's a finance team. So why we have these options is you can have like join and split. That means 2 people have to finish 2 different tasks. Then only the 3rd task can start. All those join, split, everything is possible to configure. So it's like a proper workflow that you can configure. Okay, so then after the finance team, then I'm saying the loan has to be disbursed. Okay, so this is a template I'm creating. So that means in the future, once when everybody is completed all the tasks, then it will get completed. Okay, only one thing is the manager approval. I made a mistake. This is there's no particular step. It is just approve the previous step. Okay, so there's no new activity. It's just an approval activity. Or you can have it as a new activity also. Okay, or the other way is you can also directly go over here and say this is my reviewer role. Okay, all right. Okay, so before I forget, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the reviewer role and I'm going to go to user assignment and just make sure that my okay, a lot of people are in this role. Okay, so I'm just going to add my ID over here. So basically, I will be the admin, I will be the finance, everything. I will be doing it because so we wanted. Okay. So the timesheet role, again, user management. I'm going to add myself in the role. Okay, done. Then I'm going to go to accounts. So I'm going to make myself as an accounts person also. All right. These steps are actually one-time steps. That means you only configure it once. You don't have to do it again and again. A template also is like that. It's created once. That's why it's called as a template. Okay. So now the template is ready. Everything is ready. Now comes to the actual implementation. Okay. So now whenever an employee wants to apply for a loan, then what we need to do? All he needs to do is go to business process. There is a process called manage business process. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go and say, I want to start a new process. Okay. So the new process, I'm saying in discrete, I want to start it today. What is the header? So our header is employee loan application. So which template? So if you see, you can define multiple templates for different processes. And based on the person's role, he will be able to go and start any of these processes. Okay. So the employee loan application. So let's say this is Gautam loan application. Okay. Or actually, let me make it a bit more realistic. Let me go back to the template. And because this process is not going to be done by the loan is going to be applied by mobile app CRM person. So what I'm going to do is, this one I can't change from here. Okay. Actually, when I created this, I should have created it as under Gautam, but okay, fine. Okay, so let me start the process again. I'm just going to select discrete. choose the date. I choose the employee loan application. So let's say Gautam loan. Okay. And I say okay. So now the instance is generated. That means one instance of the template, that means one workflow has started. Okay. So to find out what workflow has started, you can come here and you can select the organization, and then you can refresh. Then you can take, so you can see here that there is one process that has started, which is Gautam loan due to start on this date. Okay. So what happens is when you create a new process, nothing starts. Okay, it's just that the workflow is created, but nothing is actually started. Okay. Now, okay, another mistake I have done is I did not increment the sequence number. So everything is 10, 10, 10. That's why it's not showing correctly, but by right, it should be 10, 20, 30, etc. So this is the mistake that when I created the template, all of these, if you look at this, the sequence number, I did not change it. Okay, so by right, it should be changing automatically, but I didn't understand why it didn't change. So that is the problem. Okay, so okay, so now I made a mistake. I didn't put this, so the sequence numbers have not changed. Okay, we can continue like that, or let's say if there's a mistake, I want to archive it. I don't need to do anything. I can just say archive process. So say if you archive all incomplete tasks will be marked as cancelled. You want to continue? Yes. So I have archived the process. Okay. So now let me go and recreate the process. I say new process, discrete. Again, same start date, application, loan. Okay, so I close here, I refresh. I'm here, so you can see here. So now if you see, oh, okay, so this is something which I need to check. It should have been, it is ordered now, but the sequence number is still showing as 10, but it's ordered correctly. Okay, so if you look at this, there is another default value which I didn't change, which I'm not sure if people would have noticed, is whenever you create any step, okay, you need to say how many days this task will take to complete, okay, and by default the tolerance is 7 days. That means it takes 7 days. So what happens is the due date gets shifted by 7 days automatically. So totally it becomes 35 days. Of course, this is not practical. This is not the right thing also in our case, but this is just a demo, so it doesn't matter. But you can also adjust the due date for how long it's going to take for each process to get completed. And that is inside the step configuration. All right. Okay. Now, once this is done, so this is assigned to, if you look at the assignment, how the assignment works is, the assignment works based on the role that we created. Okay. So I'm going to change the assignments to make it more realistic. So I'm going to select this and say user assign. So I am going to say I want to assign this to Gautam B. Okay, and then the manager would be me. This is because we don't have the proper roles, so we just assign some random roles. So it took some random IDs. Okay, so this is going to be again user assign. So this is going to be this is going to be myself, and then for the remaining part also is going to be myself. So I'm just going to, right. So now I have done everything. Okay, so if you look at this, this gives me the process name, the step name, the due date, who's the assigned user, who's the approver, who is the what is the status of the step, what is the overall process status, what is the previous step, and what is the step type. Okay, and this approver has admin, so I'm going to change the approver also to my name. So, okay, so this is the approval role. So I don't need to change anything here for now. Okay. So how does this now work? Now what you have to do is someone has to come and say start process, or the person who's starting the process. So once I start it, this becomes active. Okay, so the process status is active and the first step is in progress. So it happens automatically. Now, no emails are configured in demo server, but if you want in live server, we can configure emails that whenever an activity starts, that person, assigned person will automatically get an email. Okay, so now where do I see this? That's the other window which we went before. Kanban board. I go over here, go task management, I refresh. Okay, so I can see all the tasks which are in my name, the approval, HR team, finance team, but nothing is in progress. Why? Because this progress step is for Gautam, it's not for me, right? So let's say I'm being a little bit playful, I just go here, I go and try to do this. So how do you change the status? You just drag it from one column to another. So change it here, it will tell you cannot change status, obviously because the previous step is not completed. Okay. So the next thing is, okay, so we'll come to the description comments later. Now let me log out from here. I just hope Gautam's ID has access. Okay, so Gautam B. Okay, although I did assign the access to mobile app, I'm still logging in with this because that mobile app role does not have the access for the board. But still the system will work because I'm logging with the same user. It does not check. So now if I go to Kanban board, I go to the process, I refresh. Okay, so I still don't see anything. Okay, it's because of the role, I think. Okay, so let me take this. Okay, so okay, so the problem is I logged into the wrong role. I need to log into mobile app CRM. But unfortunately, I think in this role, I will not have Kanban access.
Yeah, right. You will not have that.
Yeah, I will not have that access. So, okay, so the problem now is, although I changed the role, in the step configuration, I have said that this only mobile app CRM will be able to do that. Okay, so because of that, he cannot see the Kanban board access. Okay, so can we do? Let me just log out. Just logging in with my ID again. Okay, so I need to go and add access to that, but instead of that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to manage business process and I'm going to reassign that first access also to myself because it's a long process and I don't want to take a lot of time. So I select this, I go to user assign, I change the user to my user ID again. Right now I go to the Kanban board.
Maybe 1 minute. I think you have mapped your system, Mr. Regis. Just cross fulfill.
My system user. No, I don't think so.
It's surround space KB. It's like we have given dot.
Oh, okay.
Last.
Okay. All right. Okay, so then I go to Kanban board. So in the Kanban board, again, now I go to refresh. So if you see, because I assign myself the assignee, it will come here. If Gautam had access in that particular role, he would also would have got the same access. Okay. So now here, whenever I'm trying to do a task, things are very simple. I just need to right click and add comments if there are any comments. So let's say, for example, urgently require money. Okay. So I say okay. All right. So now, okay. So sure got added here. I'm not sure why. Okay, so now after this, then if I want to send it for approval, I just need to drag it and put it in awaiting approval. So automatically it has got into awaiting approval. Now, since I am the manager myself, I can actually approve this. So I just drag it again and I can put it to close. Now watch what happens when I close this particular task. Now when I close this task, the next step, that means when this is completed, automatically this will open up. So this happens because of the transition configuration. So automatically this has come. All right. So the same thing again, this approve previous step. Again, I can do approve and then close, or I can directly move it to closed because I am the approver. And then like that, each task will come up here, and then I will be able to do it. So I close this task also. So I come to finance team, I close this task also. Oops. Here what it says, no document attached to task. Why is that? It allowed me to close these activities. Why it's not allowing me to close this activity?
I think it needs to have that payment document.
Yep. If you look at the type, these are step linked to task, no document. Approve previous step, no document. But here I said link to document, right? So that means I need to link it to a particular document. Okay. So which document is that? Let's see. So let's say I go to loans and advances. So they actually go and create a document, let's say. So the document is completed. So I'm just going to assume that this is the document that was used to create the loan. I need to go over here to this icon. It's called task. If I click on this, all my open tasks will be displayed over here. Okay. So now since this is in progress, it's showing me this task here. I can put this task and I can say loan created and save. Okay, now the comment is updated over here and the task is assigned. I click OK. I come to the Kanban board. I refresh. So if you look at this, it will tell me the comments are getting updated over here. All right. And now if I drag this to closed, it will allow me to complete. All right. So this is how you can ensure that your workflow is linked to your ERP transaction. The same thing I can do for this. It will give me the same error again, no document attached. Now, if I go to the loans and advances, there is another thing, again, I skipped, but you might not have noticed is, if you see here in the task to assign, it shows all the tasks, right? Loan is dispersed, finance team. So let's say what happens here. I click here, I click save. So I attach this to this one, and I say, okay. So it goes over here, go to Kanban board, refresh, then I drag this and put it over here. So now when I drag this and put it over here, this workflow is completed, the loan has been dispersed. So how do I know the status? I come over here, I just do a refresh here. So if you see here, all the steps are closed, but still the process is not closed. It waits for something called as completed, awaiting finalization. That means there's the overall process manager who can come and say, okay, it is done, it's completed. Then he can say archive process. Okay, so let's say I select this, and then I say archive process. So the process is archive. That means it's closed, so it won't be coming here again. All right. So this is how you will create a template. Then you will assign the template to user. The users can use this transaction to create a new process, and then they can manipulate or run that particular process. Okay. So if, for example, what are the other things that you can do? I've already shown you that you can change the user assigned to the task. Okay. So look at the other things. Sometimes you might want to duplicate the process. So you can say copy task. That means there's only one person assigned, but now two people have to do the same thing. So you can select this and say copy task. Okay. But then it says select task is not delayed. So what is this delay? It's very simple. So for example, you have this task. You assigned it to a person called Anita. Now this person is supposed to finish it by 3rd of September. They did not finish the task. Okay. So what can you do? You cannot do anything, right? Because some people need to have tracking. Either you can reassign the user to somebody else and ask them to do it, but then it's not fair for them because you don't know the due date. It's very close to the due date. So what you need to do is you need to select this task and say this task is delayed. Okay. Again, it's an error because it says still within the due. How can it be delayed? So any task which has crossed the due date, you will be able to delay it. Okay. So just to show you what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a task from the past. So the task start date is going to be 1st of July. So by nature, everything will be delayed. We come here, refresh, then we take the second task. So if you see here, by default, it's already in minus 50 days. That means this is behind. So it's already delayed, right? So you can select this and say, delay the task, error performing task. I'll tell you why that is. Because this process is not started. So I start the process. This also cannot be started. So could not start because all this task has been delayed. Okay, so this one I have nothing to except to delete it. So it won't allow this. Neither will it allow me to copy the task. Yeah, okay. So if it is delayed genuinely, then you will be able to copy, delay and copy the task. You can also change the due date. So for example, I'm just going to change the due date to today. So change the due date to today. Okay, so this becomes 0. So I can extend the grace period for a task also. That is also possible. So now it's in progress. Now if I delay the task, it is delayed. So because its due date is today, I can say they didn't complete it, so it is delayed. And this task, I can give it to somebody else by copying it. So this new task, I will say I want to assign it to somebody else. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So these are the other options. Then you can also delete the process. Your process can only be deleted if you have not started it. So now if you started it, it won't allow you to delete. So it will say cannot delete instance that is already started. So any message that you want, you have, it will be displayed here as well. So you can see it from here. So you can create a new process, start it, archive it, sign it, delete it, change the due date, etc., etc. You can also zoom to the task. That means you can look at the step detail. You can just click on zoom. So it will give you the exact detail of the step. It will give you the status, and it will give you the how many steps have been, how many steps are there, what is the current status, everything. So, but this window is read-only window. You cannot do anything with this. So this is the window where you'll have to go and do all the changes. Okay. So this is task management and how it is linked. Group tasks work a bit differently. A group task is simple. That if there are 5 people required to do one task, then all the 5 people will have to complete the task. Only then it will go to the next task. Okay. So that's the group task concept. So that's other than that, the working is exactly similar to a normal step. Okay. So
Group task.
Yeah, Raj?
Yeah, suppose if any of them is not completed in group task, so can I reassign?
Yes, you can either reassign, the task, or you can delay the task also. Then only that person will be delayed. Rest everybody will be able to proceed. It is possible.
Okay.
In group task also, it will be displayed exactly like this. It will display 5 tasks here. The task name, everything will be the same. That's all.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And then the step type, it will say it is a group task.
KB, the process whichever we are archiving, right? Can we able to see again?
Can you able to
see that archived process? What are
okay. So what are the processes that you have archived? Okay. So then you have to go to another window called business process instance.
Okay.
In the instance, you will be able to see all the archived tasks.
Okay.
Okay. So like the 2 tasks that we created here, one I cancelled, other one I completed. So you can see what is the latest status and everything from here. So the status will be finalization archive. Okay. Apart from this, we have reporting also. So you can use reports also to take it. What is the open reports, etc., etc. But yes, you can see it after being archived also.
Okay.
But you cannot revive it. You cannot unarchive it. You cannot return it back to active state. That now is not possible.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Any other doubts?
Can we highlight any colors for bending task or like red color, red, green?
In the Kanban board, right?
Yeah, yes, correct.
Yeah, currently it is a configuration. Yes, we can do it. That is, if it is delayed and if you want to show it in a different color, we can do it.
Like yellow if it is delayed, yellow if it is uncompleted. Yeah, red.
Yes. Yeah, you can. You can do it either based on status or based on due date. It is possible. Currently, it's not done like that, but yes, it is just a configuration in the Kanban board. So there's a Kanban board configuration, and this is the status configuration. So using this, you will be able to configure your boards how you want it. In the current board, we have not done any configuration like that, but yes, we can make colors or other priority things like that. We can definitely do. Okay. Okay. Anything else?
I have a doubt, KB. If suppose a task is assigned to me, and will it be shown on the home screen under the workflow activities?
No, not here.
Okay.
No, here it will not show.
Okay.
You have to open your Kanban board to see it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I think.
Do we get any alert of us?
Yes, like I said, in our demo system, we have not configured any alerts as emails. But in live system, whenever the task is moved from one step to another, if you want an email to be triggered, it can be configured with the content. It can be configured. In demo server, we have not configured it, but it is possible. It uses our standard Konnect action configuration concept, where for any action, you can trigger an email or an SMS, or so we have different notifications: email report, SMS, or email notification. So any of this you can trigger for those actions. Okay, so this falls under the normal Konnect action configuration, which allows you to trigger emails or SMS to the person. Okay. Any more doubts? Okay, Gautam, I think you can stop the recording.